Speaking of Sly Cooper, I might as well put in my other honorable mention in here, which was the actual reason or the actual know how that I found out about Sly Cooper, which was in a game called PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, so the Smash Brothers clone for the PS4.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm hearing rumors that it may come back. I'm hearing rumors about it, but
I
I
mean,
don't
that's a
know yet.
good and a bad thing at the same time, to be honest, dude.
Yeah,
Because
it
that
really
game
is.
kind of got mixed. It kind of got a mixed reviews, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it did. It did, but it had a lot of potential to be honest.
It really did. It was
Yeah.
really good.
I don't really honestly seeing it coming back, but
Hmm.
it's a good thought and it's good like possibility that it might. But the thing that I really loved about PlayStation All Stars was the fact that you can play Kratos, you can match him up against Naruto, which was a good game, Heavenly
Hmm.
Sword. I actually recently found that game at McKay's, off topic,
Nice.
but and then I'll like match those two together, and then I'll fight like somebody like Sackboy and Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sly Cooper, from what I've seen from his fighting style and everything, I was just like, I love this. Now, explain to me what is his little, what is the thing that he's holding? That pole? Is it a
Oh,
pole
that's
or?
the that is the raccoon cane.
Okay.
So basically, what he can do with that cane is that he can like use it as a hook to kind of throw himself. Like you know how you swing on like a swing.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the same thing that he's doing with that cane. But he also uses it to fight too.
Okay.
Sometimes he'll use it to activate. Like remember when I mentioned the exploding hat?
Mm-hmm.
Like what he'll do is that he'll throw a hat down to where a guard might run into. When the guard's there, he'll smack down on the cane, and the hat explodes, and he's dead.
Oh, okay.
So the cane is basically hit. So all of the and going back into the Thebes raccoonus, all of the raccoon ancestors had this cane. It's not
Mm-hmm.
this. Not all of them use that specific cane, but they had the look of the cane. Like they had like there's one person like a raccoon in the Wild Wild West that
Yeah.
had dual guns, but the grips of the guns were the canes. So that's the
Oh,
Thievius
okay.
raccoonus like look basically.
Okay.
There was even a ninja raccoonus that had like you know the what does the uh red uh ninja turtle use?
Oh shoot.
The the shurikens, I
Yeah,
think.
shurikens.
I
Something
think
like
that's what
that.
that is. I could totally be wrong, but whatever. But he uses those, but again has the symbol of the cane hook. Basically,
Uh-huh.
it's just the Thievius raccoonus symbol.
Huh.
Yeah,
Let's see here. Yeah. That honestly was that was like the main reason I know about Sly Cooper when you said that, because I fought him. That was
nice.
literally it. But that has to be one of my other honorable mentions. I have to say it was really really an intense good game, unique actually for them to make
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
it is definitely unique. Definitely.
Yeah, so going into my next one, I really want to go back into the racing aspect. This is actually my last racing game I have on here,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know why this one hit me so hard that the way it did. But Midnight Club Los Angeles has a spot in my heart so much.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know why,
Yeah.
but I do not know why.
Sometimes those games do that.
They
Sometimes they
do. A
do.
good game made by Rockstar, I'll tell you that. Um, the story, storylines, okay, you're just a regular guy who races at night, midnight club, that's where you
Yeah.
get the story. Most of the people, it's kind of an open world aspect that takes place in Los Angeles. You have a 24-hour day to night cycle, weather effects, trafficked with licensed vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And it adds a new realistic aspect to the game, because you would think in like a highway you're just going to be free, it's just going to be open. Well, actually no, sometimes you do get backed up in traffic, which is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Something that I never thought a game could actually do
That
or
is
have that in.
That is actually very interesting. I've never, like I said, I've never heard of the game, so
Yeah. So the thing was that the they had this engine called Rage, the Rage engine,
hmm
and it was used for the
Rage Engine.
yeah. So it was used for the game because what it will help it do is it'll add traffic levels will fluctuate throughout the day basically
Yeah,
with light traffic at night and heavy traffic in the morning and afternoon. And the heaviest traffic are in the evening, which is so true. So that was
hmm
one of the things that I really liked about it was the realism into the actual game. Granted, you
mm.
could not get out of your car. You stayed in your car the whole time, but
Mm.
that's okay. When do you ever get out of your car in a racing game besides GTA?
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So I got it on the Xbox 360, which honestly was hands down one of the rarest consoles I've had. I say rare because the consoles that I've had them multiple times. I've only had the Xbox 360 once, and when it died on me, I gave up on it. Like
Ah,
I was just
yeah.
like, you know what, I'm done with it. I had Midnight Club in this
I
random
mean,
fishing game.
I mean, the Xbox 360 had some decent games on it, but not
Hmm.
really a lot to keep a lot of people on there, unless you like really like shooting games.
Yeah, true. There is this one game that had on there, but I'm saving that one for last.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, I got you, man. But that's literally my favorite all time racing game. The online was okay. You know, hackers
Nice.
at that time were relevant, and
Yeah,
the
that's
online was
true.
kind of trash. But there you go.
Trash.
Yep.
Indeed. Nice. All right, so I'll go ahead and jump back into another PS1 game here that just recently got remastered.
Ooh.
This one, along just like Crash Bandicoot, this so I don't know if you knew about the PS1 console war kind of mascot kind of war thing. You know how uh, Mario was the mascot of Nintendo, and then like
Mm-hmm.
with Sega, Sonic was the mascot, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll get into Sonic here later.
Well, same.
And in the for the PlayStation, there was a war for who was going to be the mascot. They never had like an official mascot. People were
Right.
thinking it was going to be Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I I feel nostalgic to Spyro the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love the platforming aspect of Spyro the Dragon being like a dragon, kind of like how Crash Bandicoot was kind of like a mixture of 2D and 3D platforming,
Yeah.
where all Spyro was just all 3D platforming.
Okay.
And it did, and the cool thing about Spyro is that they did improve with the other games too. But I feel more nostalgic to Spyro the Dragon because that was actually the first Spyro game that I can sit down for about 8 hours, and I had a story behind this, and I've played it straight on through the original PS1. I did it for 8 hours straight, and I 120%ed the game.
Huh.
Uh, so I was over at my mom's house and she had the PS3 hooked up and everything. And I was bored. I didn't have anything to do that day. So they were just like, "Why don't you play like Spyro or something? We love
Typical
watching you
gamer,
play
by the way.
that." Yeah, pretty much. They just didn't care what I put on, so I was like, "Sure, why not? I'll just play Spyro." So I just sat there the entire day at just playing Spyro. And while they were watching me play Spyro, they were just like, "Treasure over there, treasure there, treasure there." I'm like, "I got it, I got it." The only thing that took me so long was like I think it was like the tops area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
really remember the actual name of the level, but that one was the one that took me the longest. But um, I love the Spyro the Dragon series, and with it now having the remaster on PS4, or what they like to call it, the reigniting of Spyro the Dragon. It just made me feel so nostalgic to just feel like I'm going back to playing the Purple Dragon all over again. It was great. I'm so glad that both Spyro and Crash came back to us in this new era of gaming.
What are your thoughts on the remaster?
I like both of the remasters. They're all great. They do what they need to, and the thing is that there were some moves that were exclusively to like in the PS1 era. Um, there were like some moves that were only in both those games that I
Mm-hmm.
really wish they would have been in the original game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally all the same move set and everything is in all three games, and it just makes the game so much easier. And I'm just like, yes, I needed this. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, I really do enjoy the remastering for sure, just because it fixes a lot of the things that I was just so demanding of too. Plus, it also has the original soundtrack. So if you
Oh, that's a good
so
thing.
so if you wanted to listen to the original soundtrack, you can, and it's so good.
That's a good thing. Because I noticed that some remasters don't actually have their original soundtrack. They have
The
updated
Crash
versions.
the Crash Bandicoot did not. The
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot remastering did not have the original soundtrack. CTR does. The Spyro Reignited trilogy does.
Mm-hmm. And that's something
So,
that is really important, to be honest.
oh yeah, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Because when you think about it, when you're playing the game, the most of the time you're focused on the game. But one of the things that I actually want your opinion on this. One of the things that I think makes a game really good is music. You can't
Yes,
have a good game without good sound and good music.
absolutely,
I can care less about visuals. If you have good sound and music, that's what I'm in for. Like what do you
absolutely.
think? What do you think makes a game actually, what brings you that nostalgic feeling the most? Me, it's
It
music.
it is the music that does make me feel a lot of it. Sometimes it's just the story behind the actual game too.
Mhm.
Just being able to get the actual game, start playing it, and have like nice childhood memories of being able to succeed in some of those really difficult missions and stuff like that. Um, sometimes when you're just and sometimes when you just find it on the shelf and you buy it and you're just like, man, I remember playing this from so long ago. You just that makes you feel nostalgic too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but just like remembering the actual game is one thing that does make it feel like you're really being nostalgic at that point.
Mhm. I gotta definitely agree with that. Speaking of games that have a really good sound, and I, honest to God, didn't think I would bring this game up
Oof.
until
Uh-oh.
I thought about it. I thought literally about it the moment I was talking to you before we started this
Mm-hmm.
podcast,
Yeah.
and to the point where I had to make one of the ones I had on my list of honorable mention, which was the DS Mario Party.
Uh-huh.
Viva Pinata Pocket Paradise.
Oh no. I've never played that one.
Oh
Oh,
my goodness. This
there's got to
game,
be a story behind this.
there actually is a really good story behind this.
Alrighty.
So, as you know, well, if you didn't know, I kind of dealt with depression when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this was actually one of the games that helped me a lot with it. So this was actually one of the rare games that I picked up at GameStop when GameStop was relevant. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I went to the DS section where they had our basically the clearance section, and I saw
Yeah.
Viva Pinata. I was like, okay, I'll take a whiff at it. And I tell you not, it's a sandbox game where you're just building a beautiful garden where different pinatas will come around with different features. You'll have to figure out a way to breed them, so you'll get like different varieties. You'll get like hybrid breeds sometimes, and then they'll turn into like different things. Like if you breed a horse with a duck, you get a bear.
What?
just some stupid stuff like that, where it just makes you okay. Listen, Cell Pro, go away.
What is this? Like what is it? Zook Tycoon or something like that? It sounds like it.
I actually wanted to play that game.
I would love to play that game like so much.
Yeah. Um, it it was one of the games where when I bought my DS or when I got my DS, that made it really fun to me because
Mm-hmm.
I got the DS and I didn't really have any game on it, and that was actually I think it was the second game that I had on it. And I kid you not, this is what happened. So I bought the game. We're on our way home. I pop it in my DS, and it just gives me such a calming feeling. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because like when I was younger, I had anger issues, depression issues,
Yeah.
and sometimes suicidal thoughts, but not much. But
I have to agree. I had those when I was younger too.
yeah. Um, by the way, off topic for anybody dealing with that, please just if you are dealing with suicidal thoughts or you're really down in the dumps that in depression, reach out to either me or Jeff Gaming, Jeef Gaming.
Yeah.
We will talk to you about anything. We will try to our best to help you. Just
We got your backs, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
yeah, put it in the comments if anything's going on. We'll hit you up.
Indeed.
But
Mm-hmm.
going back to it, it's just the peaceful aspect of the game of you just building a nice peaceful garden, you putting these different little houses in there for these little pinatas to get inside them. You can create like a little lake in the middle if you want, and if you want, you can clear everything out and build it totally new. Like you can make it a waterland so that only water creatures can get in. You can make it like a desert kind of land so that only desert pinatas. Grassy ones like worms and like different like hedgehogs.
Yeah.
It was just the most peaceful. It was the peacefulest game I've ever had. That made me just. I was okay with I was okay with everything for once. I can actually game, have fun, be in my if everything's going wrong, just go in there, turn it on, build my garden so I can have some new pinatas. Everything. It was really nice. I absolutely love that game.
It almost like the way that you're kind of describing it, like in a happy-go way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people really do like to go to and play Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like the same way because a lot of people are saying that Animal Crossing really makes them happy and it's kind of like a really easy game to play and just makes them smile and all that.
I heard the same for Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I've heard that too, actually. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I really do want to pick up that game eventually, but just haven't been able to.
I feel that like hardcore.
So, but yeah, I've heard like the thing is that when you get a game that makes you really happy and it makes you really good, which is also another reason why I do like nostalgic games too, because they bring you back to a time where you were having a fun time, you were having a good time, and there was nothing wrong. There was never anything wrong. You were just playing it, and you immersed yourself into the game fully, and you had no cares in the world. Like nothing was going wrong. Unless you'd like died on a boss way too many times. Rest in peace, Dark Souls.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Dark Souls. Oh my god! Don't start.
Anyway.
Way to ruin the mood.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Whew, Dark Souls. Wow.
Oh my
no
goodness.
way. But yeah. I guess I don't know. Are you done with the pinatas?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So as we're talking about like all these nostalgic games, like I'm getting a lot of like thoughts of like old games that I used to play, like as I mentioned, like Zoo Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon. Oh my god, I love playing those games when I was a kid.
Man, I wanted to play those so bad.
Those are honorable mentions to me because I loved playing those games when I was a kid, and I had it on my PC and just played it and like just sitting there just like making my own like zoo and stuff like that. And I even made a dinosaur park. It was even great too, so it was awesome. But yeah, those are just small honorable mentions. But here's where I want to get into another nostalgic game. I think I only have like 2 left on this list. I think. I think no, I have 3. So I'll talk about this next game. This one's going back to the PS2 era, and just recently had a game came out. I think it was early January of this year that it came out with its 3rd game, or if you really consider it the 3rd game, but console-wise is the 3rd game. They've had so many spin-offs and storytellings and all that. It's a confusing timeline, but people have solved the timeline. Kingdom Hearts is the game I wish to talk about here on this one.
Okay.
So a really nice collaboration of not only Disney but Square Enix too, where it takes you through the story of Sora, and with his friends Riku and Kairi as they're living on Destiny Islands, and they are trying to get off of Destiny Island, which for whatever reason I don't know why, but and even one part of the segment of the movie itself, it takes you to this city and town away from the actual island. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why would you want to go away from this place? You have your family and all this kind of stuff, but you never see them again afterwards.
Right, right, right.
Um, and then Sora gets thrown into the to the Heartless area, and then like thrown into the world of like different places of Disney and such. And then you team up with Donald and Goofy, which heal me, Donald. You idiot, heal me. Anyway, um, that like you're pretty much teaming up with them and learning the stories and getting yourself into like the actual movies that you used to be in when you grew up to like the Disney movies. But there are some that don't really follow the actual movie. They
Mm-hmm.
have like their own kind of storyline. Um, but some of them actually kind of follow the movie a little bit more than others do. Um, and some of the places that you don't like, you see in Kingdom Hearts 1 that you won't see in any other future installments, uh, like Tarzan. You won't see Tarzan ever again except for that one game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of the areas like Agrabah, Nightmare Before Christmas, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them show up again in different worlds and everything. But just being able to not only see some really cool Final Fantasy characters like Sid, Leon, Cloud, Aerith, Yuffie, and all those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing them within the story, and then all these Disney characters thrown into a very interesting and complex story. Um, it really delved me in. Now I haven't really played like all the actual side games other than like just Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and then 3. I had to like
Mm-hmm.
research the rest of it just so I can kind of understand how it worked, which is one of the cool things why I like the remastered packs because they have all the games put in and then movies of some of the other ones that you just don't really care about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you learn about the actual story and all that, and make sure you're ready for the next game and the installment and all that.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool. It's if once you actually get the story and you get around the complexity of everything, but once you're actually like playing the game, it's a really cool hack and slash JRPG. It really is.
Yeah.
It's not like turn based battles or anything like how Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door was, but it's a hack and slash. You're actively fighting people and leveling up, which is really cool.
Huh. Now I have a question. So, did you kind of find it confusing when they did like Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts, this that, where it wasn't actual full letter or numbers, it was like points?
No, they never did full letters, dude. They did so they pretty much just did all kinds of different titles like Kingdom Hearts Recoded or Kingdom Hearts 365 over 2 and um all this kind of other bull crap and whatever, and it really got a lot of people complicated, but then they had to take these pieces together and kind of make the actual timeline of what it actually was, because if you ever like actually dive into the Kingdom Hearts franchise and you think, oh, it's just Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, okay, cool,
Mm-hmm.
I'll understand the story. Oh no, my friend. Oh no. You
Oh
actually
no.
have to play the spin-off games to even understand what you're seeing here.
Dang, it's that intense, huh?
Yeah, because so here's an example. Like Kingdom Hearts 1.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately jumped from that game to Kingdom Hearts 2 when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, it felt like there was something missing. Like I didn't understand like what happened to Sora, like what happened to this and this and this. What I learned is that you had to play the Game Boy Advance game Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories to understand what happened between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2.
Huh.
And then after that, it just kind of went off and did its own kind of crazy thing until Kingdom Hearts 3. So if you try going to Kingdom Hearts 2 to Kingdom Hearts 3, you ain't gonna understand it until you actually play the games that were like on the DS, 3DS, and all these kind of other consoles and everything.
Which is actually really cool. It's kind of sponsoring the consoles, to be honest, because you're going to have to get the consoles to play the game and understand the
It
story.
it is a cool thing to do that, but when you don't have the money for it, then
Feels.
why should you buy the console just for one game?
Feels.
So that's why they created the remastered versions of the games where you're pretty much going from, you know, if it's the 1.5 HD remix, which has the first few games on there, which is Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, and Kingdom Hearts 2 on it, and
Mm-hmm.
including a movie for one of the games too. And then you have 2.5, which has more of the games on there, and then there's even one game there's even one that's called The Story So Far. It literally has all of the games, and they're all chronologically ordered, so you know exactly what you're getting into before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, that's helpful.
Yes.
Mm.
So I'd recommend either getting the HD remixes for the PS4 before buying Kingdom Hearts 3, or buying The Story So Far before actually jumping into Kingdom Hearts 3.
Definitely gonna have to be taking a look at that soon.
So, like I said, it's a complicated mess of story, but it's a great RPG hack and slash. It really is.
Oh, I don't even doubt it. Like I've been hearing so many good things about that game. Like it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Yeah. All right, jumping into. Dang, I can't believe we're almost done with this list.
I know.
This is, bruh. We got to make a part 2 or something,
Bro.
Um,
Well, I'm sure we'll do more podcasts of other games.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure it will happen.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now, this game, I remember this one too. This one was another McKay's pickup, another blind McKay's pickup,
Ooh.
where I did not know what I was getting into, but I was a huge Sims fan. And I picked up The Sims 2 Apartment Pets that has a rating of 1 out of 5 stars, or 5.5 or 4 out of 10.
So basically a really bad reviewed game.
But in my opinion, I love bad reviewed games, which is weird. I don't know why. I love trash games.
Oh, don't worry. I have a trash game in my honorable mentions that I do want to talk about.
Oh,
so
me too.
It's gonna come. Don't worry,
dude. Okay, so basically, it actually has a story. The story behind it is the game begins with your Uncle Bill going on an expedition and leaving you to take care of the apartment. You know, you take care of the pets that are already in the apartment. So after the game starts, you know, you're introduced into this man, the janitor. He'll tell you about a lost puppy, and he'll give it to you until the owner is found.
Yeah,
the owner's never found. The pet and more are the ones that owners and various people will drop off, asking you to take care of the pet for a few days. So in a sense, apartment pets, that's where that comes from. Many people, I don't know why there's an elevator in the middle of your house, but
why not?
Yeah, I know, why not? People will just come in front of the freaking elevator and just be like, "Hey, I need you to take care of my dog for like a minute. All right, bye," and then go back down. You never know anything about them. You're not their friend. How did they get there? It's weird. It doesn't have a lot of content. I gotta admit that it does not have a lot of content at all. The only things it has is your apartment, which is not a lot. You can't even basically build certain stuff. You can't really live a life. The spa, where you drop off the pets and you just have a limited time frame to where you'll cure any elements they have, like any dirt residue. If they stink, you can make them take a shower. You can wash them and all that stuff. Mini games, there are only 3: Buried Treasure, Bird Boogie, and the Snake Charming game. Buried Treasure is cool because you actually got to control where the dog was. You'll take him outside to play a little bit, and he'll dig in certain areas of the backyard to find buried treasure.
Yeah.
You can use to decorate your dog. Bird Boogie was where you had to get like little notes of the songs that will play, and then that was the same thing from the Snake game. Honestly, now that I think about it, it was a very pieced together really quickly by EA, but they did actually make up for it when Sims 3 came out with their pets. They had horses, they had all that stuff. So they did make up for it because this game was called by IGN, and I quote, embarrassingly shallow. And granted,
it's like a mud puddle.
Yeah, exactly.
You're splashing in a mud puddle, yay! And then it's
just sploosh.
Sploosh.
Sploosh, yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, a really good game to have. I have it. I still have that cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
I popped it in the other day just to play it around and get that nostalgic feel, and boy, did I forgot all.
And boy, did you feel it.
I felt it, boy.
Boy, you felt it.
As could be. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Sims 2 apartment pets, boy.
Wait, what?
Sims 2 apartment pets.
Man. All right. Well, speaking of dumpster fires, so I'm gonna jump into an honorable mention just for a few minutes, instead of actually going into my list because I think I only have like 2 left to talk about.
Same, I do too.
I do want to just mention an honorable mention just right quick.
Okay.
I do have at least a little bit to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
So, you know the Star Fox franchise, right?
Correct.
My first game into the Star Fox franchise, and after this game, I fell in love with it, even though I know that the actual franchise isn't really, like this game here.
Yeah.
Star Fox Adventures was my first game into the Star Fox franchise. And
really?
boy, did I jump into it at the wrong time.
You just...
so no. Here's the thing about it. I love Star Fox Adventures, but there are diehard Star Fox fans that think that this game is the worst game in the Star Fox franchise.
Really?
Yes, and here's why. Is because they go from Star Fox 64, which is this flight, almost kind of like a flight simulator, but it's like a dogfight basically, where you're pretty much fighting people in space.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay.
So you go from that game to like a Zelda style for Star Fox. Wait a minute, what? that's where a lot of people were just like, well, this game sucks because it's not Star Fox and it feels more like Legend of Zelda. But here's the thing though. This game wasn't originally going to be a Star Fox game. This game was actually originally going to be an N64 game called Dinosaur Planet. And it had its own protagonist and everything. You'll have to look it up and see what I mean. But it originally was going to be an N64 game by Rareware to be a kind of like Zelda-like game, but it was going to be called Dinosaur Planet. And then I don't know what happened in between then, but they kind of said, "Hey, let's throw Star Fox into it," and then boom, it's now Star Fox Adventures.
That is actually weird.
I know. I don't get it. Like, I don't get why it went from like Dinosaur Planet to Star Fox Adventures because I guess they wanted to have a new Star Fox game. And I guess since like the N64 was not going to be a thing anymore, they were going from the N64 to the GameCube. They wanted to have at least some kind of new game, maybe, because a lot of Star Fox fans were wanting it, and they were just like, "Yeah, okay, here you go, here you guys go," and then they just hate it.
Take it, hurry, run.
But I think Star Fox Assault is the much better Star Fox game because you are fighting enemies and you are flying in you're doing dogfights basically in the air and spacecraft. So it makes it a lot better, but you're still doing some platforming things, but you're pretty much following missions for different planets, which is a lot better. But for Star Fox Adventures to be my first run into the actual Star Fox franchise, I fell in love with it. I won't lie. I know that a lot of people might not be like, "Oh, that's blasphemy," but I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into the Star Fox franchise anyway, but so let me get into it, man. Come on.
Yeah, some games are made for a reason, dude. I'm just saying, like, it
exactly.
Just happens. But yeah, going on with honorable mentions, I'm gonna go ahead and get my other one out the way because these two I can really talk long about. These next two.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it really has a special place in my heart because the first time I played this was at my friend's house, and this was the actual first shooter I ever played, ever.
Yeah.
Killzone 2. I played,
Good choice.
yeah, I've never played a shooting game ever until I was introduced this Killzone 2. I It was the second main installment of this Killzone series, following 2004's Killzone, and
Mm-hmm.
it basically it takes place in the 24th century, war. I mean, two humans versus two factions, the
Yeah.
Vectans and I forget the rest. Hellgas, I think that's what they were.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe one of those. But either way, that was one of the funnest games. And here's the reason why. Funnest is not a word. One of the most fun games I've had in a long time.
Funnest.
Yeah. Because there was this multiplayer map that me and my friend would play. It was called Warzone. You would have to basically place out, dynamic matches where multiple types were played in a single round. It's something I've never thought would happen. It's like the game ships with 5 different game types, including assassination, search and revive, search and destroy, body count, capture and hold.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was one of the many few games at that time, which was, granted, this was at 2009. It was one of the few games that could hold 2 to 32 players. And it offered a clan system which allowed clans up to 64 players to compete for valor points. Which, that was really fun. I never played the story. Because Killzone's story in general never really got to me. It was the online that got to me. The aspect of the online that was really cool was just the fact that you could have so many people in one match. And that's what makes me really like Battlefield games, Call of Duty, because honestly, I like when online games are hectic. That's just me being me. My ADHD and ADD love it. It's just, I feel like I'm actually in there. If there's a lot of things going on, and a lot of people are in there having fun, that's what I'm all in for that. That's where having good sound comes in, visuals, all that. So Killzone 2, definitely one of a great nostalgia game that I have specifically for the multiplayer. Don't know nothing about the story, but hey, that was my intros into shooting. So
Hey,
definitely.
I even got just a quick note. I even have my first actual shooting game that I've ever played was actually and it was before this franchise fell into Dookie.
Oh
Um,
no,
it was Call of Duty,
the original?
like on like the GameCube. Yes,
Oh my
when
goodness.
when it was actually talking about like the war stories of like World War II and stuff like that. Those were the Call of Duties that I care about. But when you talk about like the newer ones, yeah, no way.
Hmm.
So, but that was when my first ever like jump into the shooter genre,
Yeah.
other than like playing like Halo games, like Halo 3 and Reach and stuff. So,
Yeah, I feel that. Okay. Okay.
so all right, now as we're jumping into almost our last 2 items in the list here, I'm going to go ahead and jump into oh boy, this one franchise had a great 2D time back in the day. Like it's one of my honorable mentions too, and if we have time, I'll talk about that one too. But
Sure.
his jump into 3D kind of sucked.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't super great. Like a lot of people love like this specific type of like game for him. But every other game was like god awful. What I'm talking about is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube.
Huh.
So I feel very nostalgic for this game.
Okay. Okay.
So originally it was not on the GameCube. It was actually a game for the Sega Dreamcast, and then poor Dreamcast. It lived too shortly. It didn't have a great lifespan. So a lot of the game, like after Sega kind of like onto the console market, they kind of just became like a third party developer for a lot of consoles. And one thing that they jumped into was the GameCube. So Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was actually Sonic's foray into being on a Nintendo console, which a lot of people were just like, oh, no, Sega going to Nintendo, no way. They were competitors at one point. But I personally like Sonic Adventure 2 a little more than the first Sonic Adventure game. Mainly because of the story and the characters in it as well. Don't get me wrong, Sonic Adventure 1 is a great game, but it does have has its flaws too. But I think I kind of like Adventure 2 a little bit more than what Adventure 1 was. Especially the Chow Garden. The Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was so much better than Sonic Adventure 1. Like, oh my god, I could play Chow Garden for hours.
I feel
and
that.
if they ever release a standalone game for just the Chow itself, and they package so much content for Chow, I would play it. Like, I would support it day one. I really would.
Yeah, I'm honest to God on some of these games that I really think that were horrible startups. If they restarted it and like did it again, I will 100% support it. And like games that we thought that are over and they're making a comeback, for instance, we go back to the SpongeBob game. Like, that's making a comeback. I'm 100% buying it. Like,
yeah,
I probably
I don't like
yeah.
here's the problem though. I don't know if they're going to remake Sonic Adventure. I don't think they are. But here's my thing though. If they ever make an actual standalone Chow Garden game, that just took care of Chow, because they never did that. It's because Sonic Adventure 2 has a lot of problems. They have some issues. Like, if you ever look into cutscenes, you can see that Sonic's arm is not attached to his body. I kid you not. Because they have some like graphical errors, and like some like voice acting clips are incorrect, and they're like talking over each other. There's actually one YouTube video that I wholeheartedly 100% agree with what he talked about within this whole entire game. I know that he's been going under a lot of controversy, but he's back officially. His name is Pro Jared.
Pro Jared, bro.
And he made a Sonic Adventure 2 review, and as I watched this video, I'm like, man, I agree with that. So like a lot of the things that he talked about in the video is stuff that I even agree with. So if you really want a really in-depth analysis on like the actual in-game story stuff and how stupid some of the things is and how good Chow Garden is, definitely that video is a good one to definitely check on to watch if you want it later down the road for sure.
Definitely gotta be watching that in a minute. So going on with this, it's funny because this is actually not an honorable mention. This was actually one that I had on my list.
Ooh, all right.
Made by Sega. It is a Sonic game, and my opinion, the best Sonic game I've ever played on a console. And to this day, I love it, even though of all the mixed reviews.
Oh boy,
Sonic the Hedgehog, the 2006 video game.
No. No, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding, bro. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It was released.
Okay.
You know about this. You know about it.
Who does it at this point?
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Every reviewer out there, even the Angry Video Game Nerd, has made videos on this already. And oh my god, please give me your reasonings behind why you like this this video game.
All right, so there's actually a couple reasons why I like it. So I got my Xbox 360, and the only game I had on it was Midnight Club, Forza, Ultimate Alliance 2. I mean, Ultimate Alliance. Honorable
Yeah.
mention coming up. But,
Mm-hmm.
and then Sonic the Hedgehog. Uh, like I said, I'm a random grabber. I like to grab games off the shelf and play them. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason I liked this one so much was because I when I played this game, it was a certain kind of cozy feeling I felt because Forza, Forza and Ultimate Alliance
Mm-hmm.
gave me a really cuddly feeling inside, and then Sonic gave me this because this was my first actual adventure game I played by myself.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first actual adventure game I played by myself, the one that I actually had, quote unquote, a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh my god, the story, Jesus. Uh, when I go back and look at it now, what was I
You're
thinking?
like, oh God, no,
Yeah,
why did I do this?
I was 6 years old. Okay.
Oh no. Oh, how young.
Oh, how young? Yes, I was. And it made me really love the character Silver. So Silver was an interesting character to me because of his
Mm-hmm.
telekinesis power,
Yeah.
and I would honest to God play him so much on like the Olympic Winter Games and everything. When if I could
Too
see him,
bad that's too bad that like some of his psychic powers are just wonky.
yeah, I know, right? They were trash. Jesus Christ, they were so
Yeah.
trash.
Oof.
But I the most memorable moment was when I was playing that game and I played Shadow for the first time because I remember playing Shadow the Hedgehog
Mm-hmm.
and I only saw him once on. Do you remember the TV series Sonic X?
Yes.
When I saw Shadow, I absolutely fell in love with that character. How he was,
He he actually started in Sonic Adventure 2.
yeah, and the fact that I could
So
play
many
him,
people fell in love with him. So many.
the fact that I could play him, and because I saw him on Sonic X was something that I absolutely love to this moment. I know the game was terrible. Yeah.
You were like that.
Yeah, exactly. When I started to play him on his motorcycle and everything. Oh, Roge. Don't even get me started on Roge. But it's just it gave me like a sense of feeling that was cuddly inside because I would wake up early in the morning to watch Sonic X and
Mm-hmm.
then after Sonic X was off, I would play this game. And so it
Yeah.
gave me the sense like, hey, I'm Sonic, bro. I can run fast, even though these graphics are trash. Even though the storyline is pure bonkers. I don't know what this is. I'm Sonic, Shadow, Silver, all of that, and that's honestly why I like it. It wasn't because of the game itself, but of the pure feeling I felt with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean that makes sense. Honestly, I would have recommended like any other Sonic game other than '06 if it were me. But was that actually your first ever like actual Sonic game?
On God, it was.
Oh boy, I'm like, if you ever have a chance, go to the Sega Genesis games, like
Mm-hmm.
Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh
Those
yeah.
games are a heck of a lot better. That's what actually made Sonic today. For
Okay.
sure, for sure. If you ever have a chance, definitely go and check those out
Definitely will.
because one of my honorable mentions is actually Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so back in the Sega Genesis era, because Sega Genesis didn't really have an actual mascot until actual Sonic came out, which was actually developed by Sega. So that was the actual flagship, uh, you know, person and mascot
Mm-hmm.
for the actual console. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so they made pretty much 3 games, including Sonic and Knuckles, which everybody loves to meme, and Knuckles. I even like it too. Fun fact: when I go to conventions, I actually have a pin that actually says "and Knuckles" on it, and I wear it on my lanyard every time I go to a convention. It's great.
Really?
Yes, yes,
And
I do.
Knuckles.
Yes, it is a pin that says "and Knuckles." It's great. It's actually 10. It's actually like I think if it's still available right now, it was like $10 on the Yeti. It's great. If you want to buy it, it's great.
Yo, the Yeti's the
Um,
best place to get stuff, by the way.
I know, I love it. Anyway, um, Sonic Adventure 2. I have a great history with this game because I could like legit play this game without like going to the sound area and like type in a code just to go to the final boss. I could almost make it to the final boss
Mm-hmm.
without like losing all of my lives because that game I can get through it with no issues because there's a lot of 2D platforming games
Mm-hmm.
like Mario, Sonic, and all those kind of other franchises that sometimes have that give me a lot of trouble. Like
Yeah.
actually, like doing the actual platforming challenges. Um, but Sonic 2 was the one game that me and my older sister played a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was she was Tails, I was Sonic, and we would play it together. And we always would have a great time playing it together to actually try to get to the end of the game without like trying to lose all the lives and everything too.
Yeah.
It's just a great nostalgic game to me,
Mm-hmm.
because that reason that I played with my older sister, had no problems with it at all, and yeah, it was just really fun.
Yeah.
I definitely just enjoyed my time playing that game, and yeah, so yeah,
Feels. Feels.
indeed,
It's such a.
indeed,
I. It's one of those games I really need to go back on. It just actually try it. To see.
I definitely recommend it. I really do.
Yeah. And like, speaking of the Yeti, they have I really love them because of how they just have nostalgic stuff all over the place.
You talk about like all the clothes and everything.
Yeah, dude,
Mm-hmm.
they're really nice. I need to really get some stuff from them. I'm gonna go broke.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
know, right?
yeah. Anyway, I want to hop into my last nostalgic, last honorable mention before we go into our last one.
Okay. I
So,
will do the same after you're done because I have one more as well.
okay, so this was one game that I had the most fun with on PlayStation 3. This was actually my last game I had on PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when they brought it over to the PS4, I was so hyped for it. I played it and mastered it, platinumed it,
I
everything. A game developed by High Moon Studios, but it was published by Activision. Transformers: Fall of Cybertron. The
Ooh, all right.
reason why I love this one the most is because I played every single Transformers game that I could play, but Fall of Cybertron has something different. Um, the Rise of Cybertron was okay, but the online of Fall of Cybertron was so unique. So they, of course, they had Capture the Flag, they had Deathmatch and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
these maps were huge because you, of course, you're a transformer. You're huge. Uh, you can transform to a jet. You can fly anywhere across the map if you want to. You can transform into a dinosaur, bring Hectic around online. You can transform to a tank. You can shoot out of the tank. You can transform as a car, go invisible when you're that car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so fun to the point where I was almost the top in the leaderboards. But I stopped playing it because, of course, connection problems. PlayStation 4 came out. I grew a little from it. That was the last game I stopped playing on PlayStation 3 when I got my PlayStation 4, and when Destiny came out, it was over. But
Mm-hmm.
that's one. I think this was one of the best ones I've actually played out of the Transformers game series. To be honest, because not only does it give you some story about how the Transformers in the movies came to to the Earth, but the fact that you can actually play the Transformer and customize it yourself, click a button, transform as you want. It just made me geek
Yeah,
out. It just made me geek out, and it's honestly, I would play it again instantly if I could.
like in a heartbeat.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Nice, nice. All right. So I will mention my last honorable mention as a person that I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of like sports games. I
Mm-hmm.
will play some of them on the occasion. Like I know I have my buddy who I live with. He loves playing Madden with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like playing Madden with him as well. But a lot of the other games of sports, I don't really play that much. I guess I just don't really like them.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one sports game in particular on the GameCube that I absolutely loved. Um, it's called SSX Tricky.
SSX Tricky.
Yes.
Okay.
Man, that game was so nostalgic. It is a snowboarding game. Yes.
Oh.
Now you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
I know. I played that.
Yes, I played it and I owned it too. It has been such a long time since I actually played the game itself.
Wait, I wonder if I have it.
The I think it was I don't know who actually sang the song, but it was Tricky.
Yeah. It's
So, dude, I love that song just because of that game. It was so good. The soundtrack and everything is great. The controls were great.
Mm-hmm.
The characters were pretty unique in their own standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And just the areas that you go to, even the unlockable ones were actually very cool. The one of the unlockables is it just seems so bonkers. You would never see it anywhere. Like, why does it even exist? But it's here. So it just makes no sense. But SSX Tricky has my honorable mention for being one of the coolest sports games I've ever played. And I get so nostalgic every time I see videos of it. It's so cool.
Yeah, man. I remember playing that too when I was at my friend's house and they had it on they had this flat screen TV in the living room. We put it on there, and the sheer joy I had when I could see it in just this huge screen made me feel like I was there. It's so amazing, so
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah,
Exactly.
but all right, we've come to the sad part of the podcast. And when we
No.
have to say our last ones, and I've saved the best for last.
For the end part of it all.
Yep, for the end part of it all. This
All
game,
right.
this game actually has a special place in my heart. Every time I play it, I just don't get a nostalgic feeling. I get this cuddly, warm, peaceful, hyper feeling that just can't be taken away from me for a few days after I play it. So a little context before I actually say what it is. This was another game I bought out of McKay's on the shelf, but here this one was different. I had my brother pick me out a random game this time. He picked it out for me and said, "Here you go. This is a good one." And I was just like, "Okay, I won't look until I go inside."
Yeah.
I won't
Sometimes you just don't want to. Do you want to take the? Do you want to take their opinion and see? Because they might like make a joke and say, "No, this is gonna be the worst game." Ha ha! Get it? Got him. Oh no! Here we go.
And it's funny because when I loaded it up for the first time, all I heard was water in the background, and then birds, and then I heard freaking. Oh, it was freaking Yoshi's Island for the DS.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it was
Nice.
I kid you not. I still hear that island and the birds just in the background playing it, and sometimes I still hear Baby Mario's voice when I get hit by something and it's freaking wham wham wham.
Was this
Catch me!
what was this the remake or was this the new game?
This was the 2006 one. The 2006.
Okay, so this is its own game. Okay, because
Yeah,
I remember they had a remake somewhere, but I don't remember where exactly.
Yeah. So the thing about this one, which is interesting, is that I love the actual story behind it. Is that Kamek? I call him
Kamek, yes.
I call him Kakamak. For reference, this is the this is the one right here. This is the game.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Kamek was trying to steal every single baby out of the freaking world, and he was basically wanting to make them Bowser's star children, something like that, something in context with that. But of course, you know, Yoshi said no when Mario, when the wizards beat up the bird, and then Mario fell to Yoshi's on his head.
Yeah.
And he woke up from his slumber, and then basically Mario told him what was going on, and he decided to go take care of this himself. This was honestly the best Nintendo adventure game I've played ever. I'm still wanting to play Super Mario Sunshine. I'm still wanting to play
a good one.
Super Mario. Was it 64? I'm still wanting to finish that.
64. That's a good one.
Yeah, but right now, Yoshi's Island on the DS holds a spot in my heart so dear, because I just remember every waking moment I could get my hands on my DS, I popped in Yoshi's Island and played it until I beat it. And when I beat it, the sheer feeling of, wow, this game is actually over, settled in. And I felt like, nope, I have to 100% this. So I went back, I ran through it 3 times, until on the 3rd time, I finally 100%ed it. And I still call it the best game on the DS, to be honest. I have not played any game yet on the DS that can beat that game for me. That game holds a special place in my heart. The play style is really good. The controls are really good. They feel so fluid. It has a lot of content for it being in such a small form factor. And I really think that was honestly one of Nintendo's best ways of taking advantage of the DS cartridges and making a great game out of it, just showing the potential of how much they can use certain things to make a great game out of the DS. So that's my honest to God most nostalgic game on this list, to be honest, is Yoshi's Island for the DS.
I gotcha. All right, so here's my last nostalgic game that I will mention for now. So this is a huge franchise. It's not really. They always release on just Nintendo consoles. They don't release on any other console. So no PS4, no PS3, or anything of that sort. They always release on Nintendo. And it took the world by storm in the 90s. And it's been, pretty much around forever. And just last month, it released a game. So, and I've been playing it every once in a while. I'm still playing CTR on the PS4, but I'm also trying to play this one on the Switch along with my girlfriend Heather. She's trying to play it too as well. But I'm not talking about that game. I'm talking about the one that started it all. Pokemon Blue.
Okay.
For the Nintendo Game Boy.
Okay.
So I played Blue. So the first generation, they came out with Pokemon Blue, Red, and then a little shortly afterwards, it was Yellow. And they also had remakes for the Advance with Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. There was no Blue whatsoever because the Leaf Green was only Japan, which Leaf Green, the original Green game, was only Japan exclusive.
Right.
But now, just recently, with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that was actually a remake of Pokemon Yellow.
Really?
Yes, it was a remake of Pokemon Yellow.
How is that?
It's actually really good. I really enjoy it. It's not a bad game whatsoever. I really do enjoy it. But going back to Pokemon Blue, that was my first jump into the Pokemon franchise itself,
Mm-hmm.
where I chose one of the three starters, either Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur. I chose my starter was Squirtle. I started off with him. He is my boy. I love Squirtle. He's my
Okay.
boy. I know some people are fans of Charmander, like my girlfriend. She's a fan of Charmander. I know there's some people out there that are fans of Bulbasaur. I think Nine Lives Nate is a fan of Bulbasaur. I could absolutely be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Nate. I really am sorry. Um, I know the Completionist on YouTube. He is a fan of Bulbasaur. That's his all-time favorite.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people that are fans of the actual starters. But when you actually get into the game, it's really cool. You're collecting badges. You're battling trainers. You're getting to the Elite Four. You're beating the champion. You know, all this kind of stuff, which is really cool. Plus, you're taking down a crime syndicate, which is really cool as well.
Oh yeah.
Man, who would have thought that a 10-year-old would have such more adventure than me? Um,
Right.
but who, man, whatever. Anyway, and pretty much it just kind of evolved from there. You know, I'm not. I'm just gonna say it on the record right now. I am not a Gen Oneer, where I pretty much just say, "Oh, these other games are not like Gen One and should go back to Gen One and stuff." And I'm like, no, I just enjoy the games because I follow Pokemon because I love the Pokemon franchise. So I will play all the games.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I actually have not played, and I'm going to be doing it sometime soon on my Twitch channel. I'm going to be doing a blind Nuzlocke challenge of Pokemon Silver.
Okay.
I have not played the second generation yet. I have played all of the other generations, not Gen 2. So I will be doing that eventually to actually give it a try, and I'm kind of excited to be able to do it sometime. Hopefully next year, but we'll see.
Definitely be pushing for you, bro.
Oh, I'm scared because I've done two Nuzlocks already on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
One I failed, and the other one I succeeded.
Okay.
So this next Nuzlocke is going to determine how good I am at Nuzlocke. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see, bro. I'm actually hyped for this to actually happen. How long did it take you the first time?
Like, are you talking about like the first Nuzlocke?
Yeah.
So I got to right before you go to the Elite Four and right before Victory Road
Mm-hmm.
at the Gary fight.
Mm-hmm.
I lost there.
Okay.
So literally after gaining the 8th gym battle, I pretty much lost right after that.
Hmm. Okay.
And then my other attempt, which was actually on Fire Red, I actually beat the Elite Four. I actually have recordings of it on my Twitch dump on YouTube. So definitely check it out if you want to experience how bad I am at Nuzlocks.
Now, before we let the audience go on this one, explain what a Nuzlocke is.
So basically, a Nuzlocke is a self-imposed challenge for Pokemon. Basically, you have to follow a certain amount of criteria rules. Rule number 1: once you catch the Pokemon or once you own a Pokemon, it is yours to keep. Once you lose it, it dies. Basically, it's gone. You can't keep it anymore. You cannot revive it or nothing.
Okay.
Rule number 2: you must name your Pokemon. So it feels like you're having a kind of close connection to your Pokemon because you're naming it and you're raising it, and it just makes you feel even worse.
True.
And rule number 3: one Pokemon per route and per city. So basically, say you're starting in Pallet Town, and you go to Route 1. You can only catch one Pokemon that's in that route, and that's it. If you don't catch it, you don't get it. You don't get a Pokemon. That's it.
Hmm.
There is one rule that I do like to follow. It's called the duplicates cause. It's actually a rule in the Nuzlocke where say I know it happens a lot in Generation 1. So say for example, in the first route you catch a Pidgey and you
Mm-hmm.
go to route 2 and your first encounter was a Pidgey. You can skip that Pidgey and go for something else, so you can actually have a kind of diverse team, so you're not just having a full team of all Pidgeys or something.
Right.
So you kind of so I like to do that clause so I can actually have a kind of diverse team.
Yeah.
There's also other rules of the Nuzlocke, but I don't really follow those rules. I mainly just follow the rules that I just mentioned there. But you can Google search like a Nuzlocke challenge, and you can actually go to I think it was Bulba Garden or something like that. That's the wiki that went to actually see all the rules. And
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it. I said, do I want to do this one? Do I want to do this one? Do I want to do this one? And I just kind of went with that.
Okay. I feel you. Yeah, because like I feel like some people will get it confused with like a different kind of lock, like a soft lock or like a hard lock, something like that.
No. Nuzlocke was actually a challenge. I think it was made by a gamer from like back in like yesteryears or whatever. I don't really remember his name, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a custom challenge for Pokemon players. So
Okay.
some people back in the day there was not really anything to do other than like shiny hunt and sometimes be competitive because there was no online features.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody wanted to make a self kind of challenge to make Pokemon a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that comes into play. And it was called the Nuzlocke Challenge. It has a whole story and everything behind it. So when you check it out online, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely gonna check that out. I have to check out these things because most of these things I just feel like are just gonna put me back in the most nostalgic moments again. Like
I know,
yeah,
right?
as you were talking about it, I was thinking about my gameplay through Pokemon Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good one. I picked Torchic as my first one.
Torchic.
Yes, he was my first one,
Yes.
and I loved him, dude. Oh,
Nice.
it was so good. I think I had Scratch on him, and his
Mm-hmm.
Scratch was OP for some reason. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I want to thank you so much, JeefGaming, for coming on this podcast with me.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Talking about the most nostalgic games. Yeah, clap it up, yes. Talking about the most nostalgic games that we've had in our lives and how they've impacted us into what we have been now.
Oh, definitely.
I definitely do want to do another one of these, not specifically nostalgic, maybe just something else. We'll talk more about it. Maybe like best multiplayer game or like best memories or something like that. Something in the gaming aspect because
Hey, why not let the comments decide and see what they want to actually listen to?
True, you know.
So, and you know what, if they want me back on, let it be known. If you guys want to hear me again, or if Devin wants me back on here again, then yeah, I'll come on back.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I will definitely let you know. I appreciate you coming on this podcast, allowing me to spend some time to talk about my most nostalgic games. Not only that, I'm very glad to hear about yours too.
Oh yeah,
it
indeed,
definitely put me in a happy moment.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But real quick, I want to thank. Also, I want to thank the people who are listening. You guys, this is the first podcast I've done, so I really want to thank JeefGaming for appearing on this with you for my first ever one. There's going to be a lot more coming. There's going to be a lot more coming. I plan on doing this at least once a month and probably ramp it up to 2 times a month in 2020. You never know. We have to have that 2020 vision.
Gotta get it perfect, man. Gotta do it.
Got to.
Gotta do it, man.
Yeah, man. What will be cool is if we can do like a you know how Twitch has those squad streaming things?
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be really cool if we could.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that sometime. Just got to make sure that we have the same games. You know what I mean?
Like a classic, squad streaming.
Classic side by side, like racing or something.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that. I've actually heard of a lot of doing bingo and stuff like that on there, so it's really great.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I've heard a lot of people doing it with like the original Legend of Zelda. They'll try to get these certain things, and like the stream can actually mess up certain things or add certain things to the game.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I've heard of
one
those
thing.
too.
Yeah, so that's one
Yes,
thing
sir.
I wanted to do. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to or watching the podcast too. I know I am going to be making this into an audio file as well, and then uploading it. But it's going to be a video first. So thank you guys so much for watching. Jeef, is there anything else you want to mention?
I guess I'll just do my last minute plugs. If you want to, if you want to check out my content, I do, like I said, I stream on twitch.tv /Jeef_gaming. That's pretty much where I do all my content there. If you want to see what I've played back in the old days of actually streaming, I do have a YouTube as well. It's just JeefGaming as well. I have a Twitter @JeefGaming. If you want to follow me there, I have a Facebook. Follow me there if you want at JeefGaming as well. So, yeah, I'm hoping to get back into some more streaming here soon. So, but yeah, man, thanks for letting me get on this podcast, man. I really do appreciate it.
No, man, for sure. I really appreciate you. I really hope everything goes well. And just for the people listening, I hope you look good.
You're great. You're great people.
Yes, give us some round of applause. There we go.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, this is where we're going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time,
yeet.
Stay true.